right, welcome to the Hero of Ages trailer. We're going to be quickly reading the back of the book and the very brief prologue, which is only 2 pages long, and then getting a couple thoughts on what Mythic and Darkness think about what is to come for the final book of the Mistborn trilogy. So we're going to go straight into it because we are recording this on the same day as we recorded the final episode of Well of Ascension. So going into the back of the book, it starts with a question, which says, what does it mean to be the hero of ages? To end the final empire and restore freedom, Vin killed the Lord Ruler. But as a result, the lethal form of the ubiquitous mists is back, along with increasingly heavy ashfalls and ever more powerful earthquakes. Even worse, Vin has been tricked into releasing the mystic force known as Ruin from the Well of Ascension. Having escaped death only by becoming a Mistborn himself, Emperor Elend Venture hopes to find clues left behind by the Lord Ruler that will allow him to save the world. But how can Vin and Elend defeat Ruin, a near omniscient being with the power to warp reality? Humanity appears to be doomed. The stunning conclusion to the Mistborn trilogy that answers all the questions posed by the first 2 volumes. So yeah, that's the little back of the book preview.
There's a god named Ruin, what?
I know, right? Who would have guessed?
I definitely didn't call that like early on in this book.
No way.
So prologue. Marsh struggled to kill himself. His hand trembled as he tried to summon the strength to make himself reach up and pull the spike free from his back and end his monstrous life. He had given up on trying to break free. 3 years. 3 years as an Inquisitor. 3 years imprisoned in his own thoughts. Those years had proven that there was no escape. Even now, his mind clouded. And then it took control. The world seemed to vibrate around him. Then suddenly he could see clearly. Why had he struggled? Why had he worried? All was as it should be. He stepped forward, though he could no longer see normal men did. After all, he had large steel spikes driven point first through his eyes. He could sense the room around him. The spikes protruded from the back of his skull. If he reached up to touch the back of his head, he could feel the sharp points. There was no blood. The spikes gave him power. Everything was outlined in fine blue allomantic lines, heightening the world. The room was of modest size, and several companions, also outlined in blue, the allomantic lines pointing at the metals contained in their very blood, stood with Marsh. Each one had spikes through his eyes. Each one, that is, except for the man tied to the table in front of him. Marsh smiled, taking a spike off the table beside him, then hefting it. His prisoner wore no gag. That would have stopped the screams. Please, the prisoner whimpered, trembling. Even a terraceman's steward would break down when confronted by his own violent death. The man struggled weakly. He was in a very awkward position, as he had been tied to the table on top of another person. The table had been designed that way, with depressions to allow for the body underneath. What is it you want? The terraceman asked. I can tell you no more about the synod. Marsh fingered the brass spike, feeling its tip. There was work to do, but he hesitated, relishing the pain and terror in the man's voice. Hesitated so that he could... Marsh grabbed control of his own mind. The room's scents lost their sweetness and instead reeked with the stench of blood and death. His joy turned to horror. His prisoner was a keeper of Terrace, a man who had worked his entire life for the good of others. Killing him would not only be a crime, but a tragedy. Marsh tried to take command, tried to force his arm up and around to grab the linchpin spike from his back. Its removal would kill him. Yet it was too strong. The force. Somehow it had control over Marsh, and it needed him and the other Inquisitors to be its hands. It was free. Marsh could still feel it exulting in that. But something kept it from affecting the world too much by itself. An opposition. A force that lay over the land like a shield. It was not yet complete. It needed more. Something else. Something hidden. And Marsh would find that something. Bring it to his master. The master that Vin had freed. The entity that had been imprisoned within the Well of Ascension. It called itself Ruin. Marsh smiled as his prisoner began to cry. Then he stepped forward, raising the spike in his hand. He placed it against the whimpering man's chest. The spike would need to pierce the man's body, passing through the heart, and then be driven into the body of the Inquisitor tied below. Hemalurgy was a messy art. That was why it was so much fun. Marsh picked up a mallet and began to pound. That is the prologue.
Yay! I have a new chart to make. Yay! Hemalurgy.
So first of all, what are your thoughts on the back of the book and the prologue?
The prologue. The back of the book was a little like, okay.
I mean, the back of the book isn't really supposed to give away too much.
New chart.
So yes, we have A new
And there's different
metallic
metals
art.
too, because he said that the spike was a specific metal. And
It was
then
brass.
so and like what's through their eyes? Is it steel or iron? Have they
I
said it?
don't know if they've said it or not.
They said like steel spikes or something. I don't know.
They're called Steel Inquisitors. I think that means that they have steel eyes because that would make the most sense for their name.
I wonder if like chakra points kind of a thing. If like the spikes being in different areas might affect different things. I got a new chart to make.
Do you have any thoughts here, Darkness?
I think it's just vital organ related.
I don't think eyes are really vital organs, but
It goes through the brain.
oh yeah, true. Kidneys, your liver, your heart, your brain, lungs.
You mentioned something about a heart, right?
Yeah, they pushed the spike. He was
Yeah, the
pushing
brass
the spike.
spike went through the heart.
Also, metal in the veins, right? In the blood.
Yeah, so he can see like the iron. So you know how like even normal people have like iron in their blood. He can like their sense of sight is so enhanced that they can even see the metal in people's blood, which is how they can walk around with just allomantic sight.
What was he looking at?
He was looking at other Inquisitors and the guy on the table.
Okay. Did it say if the guy on the table had the same thing?
So the guy on the table is a Terraceman, and he was laying on top of an Inquisitor.
An Inquisitor.
And Marsh was pounding the spike through the Terraceman into the Inquisitor below.
That's where all the terrorist people went. He's making an army of Inquisitors.
I wonder how that works.
It's probably stealing the power from the Terraceman and giving it to the person who becomes the Steel Inquisitor.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how? Like, is it?
But yeah, I love the line though how it relates back to the first book where Marsh doesn't want to say how Inquisitors are made. He just says it's very messy. And then there's a line here where it's like, hemalurgy is a very messy art.
Yeah, very
much. You gotta pound. That's why there was more blood than one person could have in their body. In that room where they thought Marsh died. So they were pounding some spikes through people. Into him.
Oh god, I just thought of some really cool shit.
So I had some questions here. First of all, what are your thoughts on Marsh trying to kill himself but being controlled by something else?
I assumed, like, he was hearing Ruin, so I guess Ruin actually, like, controlling him would make a lot of sense too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You have any other thoughts, Darkness? Or you agree with that?
I wonder what's allowing him to break free though.
He's not breaking free though.
He is for a moment because he's trying to pull it out.
Is breaking free, but he's not actually able to move his
body. He's not able to do it though.
He just gets like glimpses.
Like he's trapped in his head. Yeah.
Does he not reach back?
He wants to. He tries to force his arm to, but he's not actually able to.
Okay.
But that's what he wants to do, is to reach back to kill himself. Did you like that you got confirmation that Vin specifically released Ruin?
Yeah. But I'm just stuck on, what was it called? Hemo something?
Hemalurgy.
Yeah.
There's Allomancy, Feruchemy, and Hemalurgy.
So Allomancy is like, it burns the metal.
The power comes from your body, but you use the metal to activate it, whereas with Feruchemy, your body activates the metal. Hemalurgy? I can spell it out for you. It comes from like blood, like the word like hemalurgy.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to know how to spell it.
So what if?
That's why I got stuck with the fact that there's like blood happening there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck on the fact that he has a terrorist person on top, and then an Inquisitor below, right?
So the spike's passing through the Terraceman into the Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm. Into the Inquisitor. So what if it's stealing the Terraceman's power and giving it to the Inquisitor?
Well, yeah, I assume that's what's happening.
So that would mean that the terrorist person has to be a feruchemist, right? Because that's what they are.
They specifically did say that they took all the people from the Synod, which were all the keepers, and he does say that like I have nothing else to tell you about the Synod. So he does seem to be a feruchemist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what if they're stealing feruchemy, but it doesn't explain to me why, because feruchemy and allomancy are so different. So is there different types of Inquisitors, or is it just like it doesn't matter and they're still getting the same powers?
The thing is, if there's metals of different types being used as spikes, I'm assuming that's how, if they're taking the ferrochemist powers, then they're gonna be able to use all those different metals, because it doesn't seem that ferrochemists are limited to one specific metal.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But like but you would use the ferrochemy stuff though, so they wouldn't be able to do the push and pull and all of
They
that
would,
stuff.
would they?
No, because the ferrochemy is different than allomancy, like in the powers that are given.
Ferrochemist could not do
Like
the push
he's
pull.
not. Yeah, he's not using like fucking wakefulness or strength. They're literally using allomantic powers. So I'm wondering if maybe there are multiple different types of Inquisitors, and like it just depends on the way they're created. So like you would put, instead of putting a terrorist person there, you would put an Allomancer there,
Right. Huh.
and then drove a spike through the Allomancer into the Inquisitor to create, what you created. But
I just want to, because it's been so long for you guys, remind you of some stuff Marsh said in the initial book when he was getting recruited to be an Obligator and an Inquisitor, is that they specifically like to choose people who are already Mistings. Specifically the type of Misting he was, which I believe was, is it Bronze? It's the one that you can check.
I believe he had bronze. Yeah.
Check what Allomancy powers are being used by people. So that's just information you should already have, but it's been a long time for you guys.
So what you're saying is that maybe they're combining the two then, kind of like the Lord Ruler would make sense on what, but it would make sense, but it would also not make sense to me, because then if you're only bringing Mistings in, they would only be able to use that Misting power, at least in my thought pattern.
Well, remember
But is that
Mistborns were very, very rare.
Yeah. So
but is that not what, like,
to basically use Mistborn powers?
is that not what ferrochemy would allow you to do though?
Why would it?
Because you can use all the metals as ferrochemists.
Yeah, but how does that correlate to allomancy? They're two different types.
Because you're transferring the powers
of ferrochemy.
Yeah, which allows you to use all the metals.
For ferrochemy, though.
Exactly, but since they're mixing together, you would assume that it would also give the ability to use all the metals.
Maybe. Oh. I mean, I understand your thought pattern. I'm just saying, like, it's hard to follow, without more information. I'm gonna have to go down a whole fucking rabbit hole now and figure this whole shit out.
I will say, because this is, because I've said in the previous books that or at least in the second book, that you were able to look at the Ars Arcanum ahead of time. In this one, I don't know if you should be just yet, because it is the end of the trilogy, so they have a bit more information in it from closer to the end of the book.
I can't read the Ars Arcanum anyways, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, mostly to Darkness. Because it does give you electric powers for what
Oh, great. Awesome. So hopefully by the end of this book I should have the answers that I need.
Yes, as I said, you should have the answers to everything that is plot related. You will have like 99.
So Hemalurgy is plot related, okay.
Yeah, so basically how the books are ordered is the first book you learn about allomancy, the second book you learn about ferrochemy, and the third book you learn about hetalurgy.
We haven't seen a dead whatever the fuck they're called, not Koloss, but the other things. Kandra, yeah. We haven't seen a dead Kandra yet, right?
No, because Tensoon, I believe, got rid of Orisur's body or whatever when he killed him.
So maybe they also have spikes. Or nails. As much spikes, they said there were nails.
Yeah, they were specifically put as nails for the Koloss ones. So I'm assuming that's like kind of like size related. They're a lot smaller.
I mean, if you look at the skull that's in this fucking like pictures that Darkness posted, the things through their eyes look like nails, but
those are way too big to be a nail, though. They're called spikes because of how large they are.
Saying they look like nails.
They're still nails.
Just giant nails called spikes.
I'm pretty sure if they have a flat like top.
So the definition of a nail is a small metal spike.
Small metal spike.
Yes. So technically, a nail is a spike, but it's small, and so that's why this is called
and vice versa. And vice versa.
No, a spike is not a spike is not a nail. A nail is a spike.
It is a nail, though. What if you're super big and you just see it as a nail?
What if those are like? What if giants held a spike? It would be that to them. It would be a nail.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if to a Colossus, an Inquisitor spike is a nail?
I don't know if they're that big, but maybe. All
To
right.
be fair, they're like what? Like how many feet at max
I
height?
gotta go down a rabbit hole. So
Yeah, that's all the questions I pretty much had for you guys, unless you have any other thoughts about what the plot might be for this book. But I feel like the back of the book kind of gives what the plot may be kind of about, which is saving the world from the deepness.
actually, it's saving the world from.
Would it matter if you're in space though?
Nope.
So there's your
We'll be
answer. Just leave.
we'll be in space soon though. It's okay.
In like 20 years.
Somewhere.
But yeah, so we finished another book. Congrats! Don't forget to get this book, either audio, ebook, or physical book.
Already have it.
Or yeah, if you don't already have it, for next week. I should probably tell you what chapters we're reading.
Should probably post it in the thing and put
I
it
will
as
also
a
post
pin.
it in the thing.
All right, guys, read along with us. Come on.
Yeah, so we will be reading chapters 1 through 6 next week.
Yay.
So yeah,
No,
look
no,
forward
one-
to that
All
next
right,
week.
Darkness 1 through 12. We're gonna read 1 through 12.
No,
all right?
1 through 6.
No, I already
1
quit the
through 12.
podcast. What do you mean?
No, you didn't.
Oh, you quit? Yeah. Okay. All right. If you're quitting, I'm quitting. Let's go.
I bet.
Oh
We're
my
leaving
gosh.
right now.
All right, well, I'll see you
We're
guys
not gonna
next
say
week.
we're not gonna say goodbye. We're just gonna leave. All right. Bye.
See you guys
Boom.
next week. Bye.
Bye.